Which science, by definition, allows for more than one opinion. Otherwise, you merely have the will of one man, which is the basis of cult.
If it's not in frame, it doesn't exist.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, an illusion?
Where you been?
Drunk.
Wendy, darling, light of my life.
What is your one purpose in life?
To explode, of course.
I like death with sex. How about you, Casey? You like sex with death?
Yeah, so fuck off and die.
Roland Emmerich.
Roland Emmerich. He directed, didn't he do Independence Day? I didn't look it up.
It is. So I did a little sneaky peek.
I know,
like,
he's Independence
what has this guy
Day.
done? He seems competent
most
in what he's
recently,
doing.
like Moonfall or whatever. Like, I knew that.
Yes. I was like, oh, Moonfall. Then he did he did 2012, which is great.
Is it? Have you seen it?
He did. No, I haven't seen it. It's great in the sense of like how this movie was great.
Yeah.
And then he did 10,000 BC, and apparently he directed
the 2000 Godzilla. I see that.
The
Hell yeah.
2000 Godzilla. Well, it's 1998, but
is it?
Yeah,
oh,
I
guess it is. Holy shit.
I
thought it was
isn't that
literally.
crazy?
I feel like I remember in my brain it being advertised as Godzilla 2000.
Doesn't they make? No, dude. I swear to God, they make a. There is a Godzilla 2000.
No, this is some fucking
swear to God, I know,
Mandela effect shit. We're like in Godzilla 2000s.
Yeah, no, I swear. But then it's it. I'm right now. I am looking at the trailer playing on IMDb for Godzilla 1998 with Ferris Bueller, and like it's freaking
dude.
It's freaking the same movie. Huh. Dude, spoiler alert for Godzilla 2000 is Godzilla lays eggs. So cool. Yeah, dude. Godzilla's got a big old Godzilla snatch. You know what
I mean, I feel like we were bound to watch a Roland Emmerich movie because I know that's like what he's known for. And so I'm glad we got it out of the way, but I also feel like I'm going to have to put at least 2012 on a future list because that seems like to me that seems like that's when disaster movies like peaked, and then after that they kind of just went away, and then ever since then it's like he's the only one doing them now because it's like that's I don't know all he knows, I guess. But so obviously the one we watched it was The Day After Tomorrow, which we watched is what we're. This is the Cultist Cinema Knowledge podcast. This is
what a great intro you got. You're over there testing positive for the Rona.
I'm sick. So pardon. I'll try not to like blow my nose into the mic or anything like that. But if you hear any disgusting,
try not to cough on the audience.
If you hear any disgusting noises, it's probably Jordan and not me. So
yeah, right. I want to say real quick. I hate this title. I hate the title of The Day After Tomorrow.
It's fine.
It's so frustrating because this film is competent is such a strong positive word.
I'll give you competent, but like just so.
It's sufficient. It's sufficient.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
sufficient.
Yeah.
I think is maybe more coherent. It's coherent, which thank God. Thank God we have some coherency here in this, except for the timeline and the physical location of every character is so gosh dang confusing, dude.
Yeah, the timeline, I know they're like a couple of weeks, just kidding, a couple days.
Tomorrow, or has this
like
been 36 years?
Well, and literally they like climb in and she's like she's like, oh, she hurt her leg the other day, and then it's been a week, and I'm like, I understand it has to be
a couple of days ago,
but then I'm like, I don't know. It's literally don't think about it. Don't think about it, Jordan.
I don't really know. But no, that's what's so frustrating is like this is my one out of the gate coming out hot. That's my one complaint is like this movie does a lot of pseudo silence, but it works so beautifully for the narrative that I'm like, this is great. I love it. It's fantastic. But the thing that bothered me so much is that their timeline in the narrative where he'd say it's going to be two weeks, and they're like, oh no, now it's 10 days. And then it's like, okay, it's going to be 10 days. And that was what they all agreed on, that it could be like, I can't even remember. They said maybe 6 to 10 days or something. They're like, that's what they agreed on for this like super.
Yeah, they said the storm's going to last 8 to 10 days. Or like, there's so many like dates and time frames thrown around. I almost
Yes.
feel like it's deliberate to just be like, don't think about it. It's the day after tomorrow.
Right.
It's the name of the fucking movie. Just it's the day after tomorrow.
I know.
Like, you know what
the
I mean?
day after tomorrow.
I
Right,
get
right,
so-
right.
I
Yeah.
get
It, like,
that. I get that grievance.
I don't know. It bothered me so much. And like, even when I saw this in theaters and it bothered me then, I remember being like, this is a stupid title for a movie. But, anyways,
Yeah.
That aside, it is, like I said, it's,
When's the
it's
when's the
sufficient.
last
It
time?
works.
Is that the last time you watched it, or have you watched it since up until now, or has it been 20 years?
If I've, it might have just, bopped around like TNT or like TBS or something. There might have been like a Sunday afternoon that I caught half of this movie,
on
but
IBS.
it's literally the first time I saw it was in theaters. So I do remember, I remember watching it, and when the tsunami comes to New York, I remember being like,
That's
holy
cool.
shit, this is crazy. Like, it's so good. And there's so much like practical watching it now. There's so much practical
good,
stuff
yeah.
that they do in between that I'm like, oh, dope. Like, this is like watching it again. I have the recall of it being like 100% CG,
Yeah.
but then watching it, I was like, oh, I mean, it's like, it is for the large scale stuff, it's all 100%
Well-
CG. But then when they cut into like there's like a large scale, they flood like a
The
set.
sets,
It's pretty
that's
sick. I'm
no,
like,
for
okay.
sure. I was actually
Yeah, this is
pretty
cool.
impressed. Yeah,
Yeah.
with the VFX, and I noticed I'm like, that's a real set. That's not CG. And nowadays they would just CG everything. And I've honestly seen
dude, no,
like
it's
those
sick.
wolves. We'll get into it a little bit more, but those wolves were kind of rough sometimes. But honestly, but for 2004, I've seen worse movies come out 2024
Yeah.
that had worse animal visual effects. So I'm like,
like even just that level of CG animal where I'm like
they're-
it really did hold up.
yeah,
Like, that's
surprising.
You're gonna hear that a
Yeah,
lot. You're gonna hear that a lot. And this episode is gonna be like a lot of, wow, that really held up. And I can tell you why. I will tell you why a lot of budget went to that visual
that
effects,
makes
obviously.
sense. Has to.
So
Well, and the key
and so
that
but
a lot of people forget nowadays is they just shoot everything. The entire scene is VFX, like in CG. Whereas like back then, no one really had the budget for that, and like VFX wasn't that good. So you had to shoot real stuff, and then add in the VFX into the real scene, and that like gave it weight though. Whereas now it's just like, this whole entire 5-minute segment is just 100% CGI, and so just like, I don't know, our brains know. Where it's like back then, it's
Yeah.
like that was really just a Jake Gyllenhaal running around and the doors flopping open, and it's like the wolves were CG, but everything else, nowadays they just CG Jake Gyllenhaal.
Right.
Anyway,
It's almost like back in the day that used to get like mocked like relentlessly, where it's like the whole joke was you got to follow the tennis ball. That's it's because you can see it. You can kind of see, watching this movie, you can kind of see they're chasing fairies. You can see them looking around, and it's kind of like the
it's a
effects
giant,
are happening around
there's
them.
a big wave.
Yeah,
coming.
right,
Oh.
It's like, Dennis Quaid, you can't jump this chasm, and he's like, I'll jump the chasm, and it just, it's like when he jumps, you're like, he's literally jumping
It's like a
4
Costanza
feet.
jump, yeah.
Green, yeah, literally, yeah. It's like it's a green strip that he's jumping, but they, with the movie magic, they make it happen. But the one thing that I thought was cool is like that ship that comes in is like practical. Like the ship is like actually, like large scale. But I was curious about they shoot underneath the water, and when it hits the bus, and I was like,
That's miniatures.
Like,
Those are miniatures.
That's gotta be.
I was
There's gotta be, right?
Looking,
And
I was like, that's cool. And I was
Yes.
looking at it, I'm like, that bus.
That's so
that
cool.
bus is like an aluminum can miniature or something, like, because it's like the way it crunches.
Yes.
I'm like,
No,
those are minis for
Dude.
sure, but it looks good.
Okay, I didn't confirm, but in my heart I was like, oh, those are miniatures, and God, I mean, you and I, we're old curmudgeons on
we're
this
the same
podcast
mind
now.
of,
Like we're
dude, it's a
over
miniature.
we're over 30,
Yeah.
so yeah. Once you get over 30, you're like you remember that like things used to be they would just shoot like
That's how
they would
you would have
build
to
a
do
little
it.
tiny miniature.
Back then, they
and
would
it
build a
look-
miniature
it would
city,
look
and then they would have to
fantastic.
like make tornadoes.
yeah, like literally, yeah.
Anyway.
they would like splash water on it.
All right, before we get too ahead of
So.
ourselves, Cindy, here's the synopsis because I know you didn't watch it. The Day After Tomorrow, the best title ever, is Dennis Quaid is a fucking like a paleo fucking weather
They
scientist
call him
that
yeah, right.
like,
He's a climatologist or something.
yeah, but like
too, I
a
think is what his son calls him, yeah.
paleoclimatologist. So he deals with like the ice age and like studies that era. Starts with him in Antarctica with his two buddies, they're like part of his crew, and they're mining cores, and all this shit starts happening, and they're like, oh, rot-row.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's going bad, and they meet another weather professor that's like, hey, I got the juice too, and these buoys are going bad too, and they're like, my God, maybe, he goes and goes to a summit, and it's like all the real things about that we've been hearing for the last 20 years, that like the last 50 years. It's like, hey,
right. That still exists,
hello
yeah.
everyone. The climate is delicate and it's getting destroyed, and so please, we got to make some changes. And then the Dick Cheney's there, the vice president, and he's like, what is science mumbo jumbo? Get the fuck out of here! Don't you care about the economy? And then so anyway, so the scientists, they're coming together and figuring stuff out as like more and more extreme weather events are happening, big hail's happening, and then finally the one that like gets it going, they're like, there's tornadoes in LA, and it like devastates LA, and they're like, oh fuck. And Dennis Quaid has got a son, Jake Gyllenhaal, that wants to fuck the Fiona from Shameless, and she's in a turtleneck.
Yeah.
And they go to a decathlon in Manhattan, and they're there, and he's like, Dad, just let me be myself. And Dennis Quaid is like, forgets to pick him at the airport and all this shit, and he's like, not a good dad or whatever. But they keep sciencing, and then some random other chick is like, I'm going to join your crew and then be useless for the rest of the time.
I know, right? Yeah,
we'll get into that.
I saw your comment,
dude.
Yeah,
you'll see. My biggest complaints. There's so many things like that where it's just like, why is this in the movie?
I can give you insight to that. I will.
Anyway, the 8 days, the day after tomorrow, whenever, they're like, okay, these cyclones, these giant storms that act like hurricanes are appearing over land, and they're so big, they're like sucking down super cooled air from like the upper levels of the atmosphere and like basically flash freezing shit on the ground, and they're like, uh-oh. So on top of everything else happening, fucking Manhattan gets flooded by like a monster wave, and they abandon the main characters there. They abandon their high rise, and they're like, we got to go somewhere higher. So they go to a 2-story building, one of the smallest buildings in the area, the library, and they hole up there. But then he gets a hold of his dad, and they're like, no, it's going to super freeze. It super freezes. A lot of people leave because they don't believe it, and they all fucking die. But everything gets super duper cold. And Dennis Quaid's like, I got to go save my son. And I can't convince the president, so whatever, But he finally does. He's like, we got to evacuate everyone south, like the whole southern United States. Got to evacuate them to Mexico. Everyone else above the line has got to hunker in. And so he goes with his 2 Antarctic buddies, and one of them dies there because they're walking over like a mall for some reason. And then, they make it there, and there's a big boat in Manhattan for some reason, and Jake Gyllenhaal's like, we got to go get some penicillin for my girlfriend because she's dying now. And so they go to the boat, and there's wolves there because, like, I guess super crazy natural disasters are just not enough. So the wolves that they got out of the zoo earlier for some reason are now a threat too. And then that's it. And Dennis Quaid shows up, and everything starts to clear up, and the dudes in the space station also that don't really serve any purpose whatsoever, but they, other than letting us have cool shots of the Earth, which I appreciate, they're like, oh, it's clearing up, everything's going to be good. And then the president dies off camera for some reason, and then the vice president, who is like the anti-science bad guy, he's the new president. He's like, oh, I was wrong. We got to trust science, everybody, and make some changes at this new world that we got to live in. And he does a powerful speech and all this, and then they get on helicopters and they save everyone who survived in New York, and that's the day after tomorrow. It's very, very cold.
And it ends on like one of the weirdest fronts where it's like the space station is just like, it's so beautiful.
It is. Well, I took it as like, this is our only Earth. Let's take care of it. But like, the whole time,
this is one of those movies that like they have it's like so many like allegories that they're trying to shoehorn in to a popcorn flick, and it that's what I keep saying. Like it's coherent,
it's serviceable,
and I know what
they're
doing.
Works.
It's like I like it's like it sucks because it's like there's so much. I like watching this. Like I came into it with such like that's probably what it is. I came to it with such like low expectations, and such like I like remember being like rolling my eyes at this movie. But watching it now, and I'm like, oh man, there's so many little nuggets that I was like, it would have been really excited. It's like, it's kind of fun to have, like, you know, the wolves can survive. It's like, you know, sending like these certain animals that survive where it's like, it's harsher for mankind. So it's like the earth is kind of taking itself back. It's like, we could actually do with a kind of another movie like this because of COVID, like it being something where it's like society shut down, you know, and like what it did for the earth. It's like cool how there's that data out there now.
Yeah.
And so like, this movie was kind of like touching on those pieces where it's like what we're, you know, the impact that we're having on the earth can be this large. It can be this large scale.
Yeah, obviously,
you know, I mean, even
blows
though
it up and
can't 'cause this is
dramatizes
science
it
fiction,
to like
but-
a crazy thing. But it's like all the things that he's saying
Right.
early on are like they're all true, and everyone's like, "But it's cold."
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, why are
Well,
you
it's
calling
kind
it
of-
global
it's
warming because it's
interesting,
cold?
like-
And I'm like, that is the thing. That's why they
I
switched
know,
to climate
I know,
change
that
and
is such a-
everything, and it's
Yeah,
like this is
right,
this
right.
all
Well,
of this
with
stuff
the
is
president-
happening. We're getting crazy weather, but it's just
Yeah.
obviously takes longer, like he was saying.
Right. And I was laughing because Victoria and I were talking about this, and we were like, oh man, this like large scale event changed the earth, you know, changed the way people act. And I'm like, we had COVID, and that didn't change jack shit. It definitively made things worse. Like things
Yeah,
are worse now.
I literally-
since 2020.
I was
That,
watching
it's
this
like
with
this
Mary.
wouldn't change anything. We would just ransack Mexico and destroy them. And like
I
it would
literally
be-
was
we would
like-
fuck shit up.
That was the
It would
most
suck.
unrealistic part of the movie. Is
Yeah,
them
the government.
going into Mexico and admitting that they were wrong. Like that would never happen. Like if it, we
Not
they
in a
would
billion
just-
years.
It would just turn into a huge shooting war. Everyone would just kill each other, and no one would
We
admit
had
fault.
COVID.
Everyone would blame each other. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Millions would die on
COVID's-
top of the millions dying from the
yeah.
from
COVID
the actual
showed us the true face of a lot of people,
event.
but it's like where we always used to be
Yeah.
like, yeah, zombies would never happen, and it's like, no, people would
I know.
see getting eaten by the zombies and be like, no, it's just the cold. Anyway, you know, anyway,
they'd tweet about it and be like,
Well,
it's not
that's kind of
happening.
what Don't Look Up's about, which I'll probably put that on a poll too. That's a pretty good
Yeah.
one. We got to get some
Yeah,
more
that'd be fun.
asteroid
I don't-
movies
yeah.
in there because there's a couple of those in. Anyway,
know, yeah.
this movie is so this is only my second time watching it, and
Right, I was gonna say, yeah. What is your
I-
second impression?
well, I haven't seen it since I think I definitely watched it on DVD like a year or two after it came out. So like 05, 06 or something. So I was definitely in high school, and I was definitely like I watched it at like a girlfriend's house or something like that, and I was just like pretending to enjoy myself to be polite. But I was like by
Yeah.
then I was in too deep. I was way too edgy. I was like, this isn't Fight Club, you know what I mean? And
I'm literally, yeah. This isn't Donnie Darko.
Yeah,
That's what I
literally, yeah,
remember
literally,
being
literally.
like. This isn't Donnie Darko, you know? Yeah.
as if fucking Jake Gyllenhaal.
I know.
But
Yeah, dude. I love Jake Gyllenhaal.
I've softened in my old age, and I went in knowing that it was going to be just a shallow destruction movie, popcorn, and I'm like, hopefully it's like just fun enough. You know what I mean? I had pretty low expectations, and which is exactly what I wanted. That's kind of why I wanted to do disaster movies this month for many reasons, but that's one of them. Is that like something like less heady? I don't have to like interpret the Bible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
like
No,
like-
really though. I was thinking about that where I'm like, I guess Jesus kind of goes through a disaster, but
Yeah.
but yeah, just like watching this, I'm like, oh, this is nice. This is fun to just be like, hey, the world is going to shit.
I watched it with my wife, and I like kind of made fun of it when stupid, nonsensical things would happen, or there'd just be like bits of dialogue that are just like, "Yeah, Dad," you know, just like very much like just like the bare minimum. Like if this didn't come out 20 years ago, I'd be like, "AI wrote this." But
Yeah, really.
and so I was like making fun of the script and everything, but like I had a good time. Like it was fun. I do think it was like maybe a little too long just because it kept focusing on people that were not the main characters. And so it did not need to be 2
that
hours.
was so
but-
frustrating. Well, it like there were so many times where I'm like, I vaguely remember the film. So like I remember Jake Gyllenhaal getting trapped in the bookstore.
Yeah,
And then I remember like Dennis Quaid going to find him, but not really. I didn't realize that was like, it's not like a large part of the movie, but like it's such a
It's like
weird.
the back
it's so,
40, dude.
I
Like
didn't-
it's like by then already like
the
an
back
hour
40.
and
No, that's what I
20 has
mean.
already happened.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. No, I paused it at about that point. Like when he goes, dude, okay, when he tells his wife to stay with the cancer patient, and he goes,
Again,
like, you stay here,
why?
which, yeah, but then this, dude, okay, if there's any movie in the world that could benefit from having some fucking, like, titles that give me the state that we're in and the time zone.
Yeah, big
or,
movies
you know,
like this
the,
you would
the
see,
time
like,
stamp.
it's like Seattle.
They usually have that
LA,
at the bottom.
You know what I mean?
Independence Day. Independence Day, I swear to God, it like says that, like Washington, D.C., at 2 o'clock or something. It's like, I swear to God,
They
that's
just
in
don't
that
got
movie
up on
too.
like
So
the
anyways,
time frame. It's just like the day after tomorrow.
The time frame made me so mad because there were times where like he would tell his wife, "You stay. I'm gonna walk to New York City," and I'm like, where the fuck are you right now? And like, I'm like, okay, so you're in DC, and then you're gonna walk to New York, and I'm like, in a day, like in a couple. I was like, okay, all right, this is. I'm like, fine, my suspension of disbelief.
Sure,
I'm
yeah,
not,
yeah.
A tornado hit LA, like whatever,
like
I
10
understand,
tornadoes
like, what
and
we're in.
guys flying
But
through them in a helicopter because
I know, right. God, and that was the thing. That's what's so frustrating. Is like, I just wish that it would like, we had a little bit more structure on time, and we did that. We cut people out because, to give a little insight on that real quick, he's been writing this movie for like 4 years before he shot it. So he's been like after Independence Day. This is his kind of thing. He loves doing.
Oh sure,
these
and
disaster
he does them
movies
well.
and
He
climate
does them
movies and
well.
stuff.
You know what I mean? All
And he
things
is.
considered,
Yeah,
like,
he's great.
completely serviceable. Like
He's
you
great.
said.
I kind of like him more than like a Michael Bay. Or
Sure,
something,
yeah.
where, like he's in his wheelhouse and he does them pretty well. So, but it's like I wish that like he wrote this and it was like 400 pages of script
fuck?
at first. Because he
Well, it's
like
too- the
he had,
scope
like,
is so big.
He had
I
these like
imagine it's like
Russians.
an
The scope's
ensemble,
huge,
right?
and that's the thing. He had like so that's the whole thing. It's like all the characters we got in this are all somewhat tangible from like the original. Like he wanted to do more with the space station, and he wanted to do this whole side plot with like Russians and the Japanese doing like a trade deal or something, and it was going to be like even more movie. And they actually shot some of that.
Huh.
And the dude in Japan that gets killed by the hail,
he was, like, part of it?
He was like a character. He was like
Oh,
actually
yeah,
a big
'cause
part.
that makes sense,
He
'cause
had
I was like-
dialogue, and he had
Like that's short
he
enough,
was like,
I guess. But it's like, yeah, there's so many things
Right.
like that where it's just like, I get,
but
they're
he was supposed to be a flushed out character,
Okay,
and then they just like they just shot it and then cut it because the movie was getting bloated,
Like,
dude.
I get-
it's one of
I
those.
get like the I get that you have to do that to show the scope of this movie. It's like a worldwide
Of course.
phenomenon. So
Right.
if you stick with just the perspective of the main characters, then you're gonna have to show everything else through like a news reports or something, and that's just not as cinematic. And so like I get why they're doing that, but it's just like, yeah, it's 20 minutes in LA, which is a very exciting and cool scene, but I'm just like, and then now it feels like it's just added in there too. It's like now back to our characters to have them react to like, oh, that weather sure is getting bad.
Right. Well,
it's
I
just
know,
like that happens
but that's
so
the fucking
many
thing
times.
that sucked. Is that like the thing that is where the narrative broke. Is that the weight of LA for the audience? We're like, yeah, that sucks.
It's pretty
you know,
bad.
crazy.
It's pretty
But
bad.
then for all the characters and their motives, it's like they tried to make it kind of like, intimate, where it's like the dad going. The dad's like, I'm not going to fail my
That'll
son
work.
again.
That's why I'm like, you
Which,
should have
like,
just focused on that though, and been laser focused
yes,
on that.
I know.
And I feel like
And
it
that
would have been a
that would've
much
been a lot-
stronger
a lot
movie
tighter.
and much like more
Yeah.
emotional.
'Cause you could even-
like, you don't need that.
I think the first hour, it would have been great for the first hour to be all the bureaucracy, all the like deliberation and the talking to different countries and stuff, because it's like you have the old man doctor guy, and he's the old like professor guy in England, I guess. I don't know, London, whatever.
Yeah, it's
wherever
not
he was
in
with
England
his two
somewhere.
friends.
Right.
When they're there, and it's like I didn't even know they were in England. I'm still not 100% sure, because it's
Yeah,
like
I'm
they never
pretty
really.
sure at the end
they were
they,
like watching a
toast it.
soccer
They're
game.
at least from England,
And then,
but
yeah, that's right. They did say that. Like, but it's like it's one of those things where I'm like, they could be at any base anywhere, and they have London heritage or whatever. They're
See,
like
that works.
It was
though.
one of those
you
things.
show the global phenomenon by having these two scientists. You can even add in, like more communication with the space station or something if you want. That like, but
Right, the space-
the
I was
group
gonna
is
say the space station would be
connected,
something
so
that was
it's
cool.
like you're all invested in their stories. But it's just like you're coming to the city, and then like there's a random dudes getting on a bus just immediately get destroyed, and it's like we're spending
know,
time on
yeah.
them. That woman that shows
Well,
up.
then the ship
it's
cut the
like
whole.
the ship.
Even though I love the
wolves.
ship, I love the ship so much, but and the wolves, but like, we don't need another ticking time
it's
bomb.
extra.
Just the cyclone
it's
itself
extra. Dude, the
coming
cyclone
in is the ticking time bomb. Is fine. That is the ticking time bomb. We don't need wolves. That's the but I did. It's like I kind of wish that the wolves were like a misdirect, or the wolves were more majestic, but that's not as fun. That's more like that's too heavy,
as cool as
to make
the
it where
LA
the
stuff
wolves
is,
just kind
as
of
cool
take
as that
over.
is, I
Yeah.
like when it's just like it just focuses on like the mass flooding, because I mean I guess those glaciers were
that's-
absolutely huge apparently, but just focus on the mass flooding and the freezing. Like that's bad enough. Focus on the main characters, but
That's
it's just
plenty.
like as cool as the LA sequence was, which it was very cool. I get it, but see that's the thing. I can't say it would be a better movie, but I'm like a better more, because I've seen other disaster movies, and I guess we'll talk about it more as the month goes on, that have been like more intimate, that I think are better movies, but I don't know if they're better like spectacle. Like they're definitely not better like disaster. Like
Twister is like a movie that I think does the heart and the core of this movie like flawlessly. It's amazing. Yeah. They kind of like, it is clearly a completely different movie because it's not a national, it's not like a world scale. They're not trying to, because this movie really did like it became world and then kind of just like Western centric.
Have you seen Deep
obviously.
Impact?
But no,
I'm gonna put that on a poll
Impact.
because obviously Armageddon didn't win. I haven't seen Deep Impact in a long time, but it's just like the main character is like the kid who discovers the meteor, and it like focuses on him and his family and like them getting ready, and it's like the panic around them. I don't feel like there was so much of like everything else in the world, but maybe there was. I don't know, but it's like that's what I remember. I remember the emotional
scaling
core.
it down, but
right, and so it's just like the emotional core of like a father and son in this is the core. But at the end of the day, you're right. Like that's like 45 minutes of a 2-hour movie.
Right. It could, it really could have been.
So
it either could have been more or less. Honestly, we could have gotten
could
more
have
of
easily
the,
just
of
been
the scale.
like that's
Right.
fine. Like I don't know, you got central main characters to root for, I guess, and that's it. And it's all fine.
Right. But dude, I gotta say though, like the part that was like cracking me up is when Dennis Quaid's like, he's with his buddies and he's like, you guys got the Arctic gear, and it's just like this movie's just like that. It's like it's all just, I mean, it's so hard to critique this kind of film where it's like it is what it is. So you can't really like, I can't be like, oh, the nuance of this. It's more just like it's all info dumping. It's
Everyone
all just
says
exposition
exactly,
dump.
yeah.
And then it's
like that,
that
that
they
chick
say-
that
they go,
shows up
"You have-
just to be
you have-
like, yeah, good
I know,
science.
just to be like, your science is solid, and then look, literally to be like, this is your adventure. I stop here now, and she just stands there rigid,
she's like an NPC, dude,
staring.
like-
And you're like, you're like, all right, well, cool, yeah, she's done. She's a wrap. Let's
But
get
he's
her
like,
out of here.
you
But
got
no,
the
dude,
Arctic gear from,
when they're-
remember at the beginning of the movie, we were in the Arctic, and that comes
remember?
back.
Well, no, it's like, it's just like you got the Arctic gear. They're not even wearing the goggles on their eyes. Their goggles are on their head. Their hoods are down, and he's got like a scarf on and no gloves.
Dude,
and
no
he's
gloves.
walking
I know.
Through,
When he-
and it's
when-
just like,
when
I
the one
can't-
dude
I know
falls,
when he takes his glove off,
and he's trying to, like,
dude,
hold
we
him,
gotta,
and he's, like,
we gotta
got no
dissect
gloves.
this whole scene, bud. No, dude. Okay, when that scene, talk about like just lost potential, because that was awesome, dude. The cliffhanger scene and everything, like them being on top of the mall and the glass cracking, and them falling and him like holding the ice pick, and it's like
Comes in
it's
clutch
cool.
again.
Like all that. Yeah, I know, right? Again, right? And that, but like, oh god, I fucking hate that. It's so egregious. The goddamn like opening where you have him do the impossible feat where they save
me
him
wanna
and
watch
stuff
Vertical
within
Limit,
the first
dude.
30 seconds.
Right?
I know. Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. Yeah. There are movies that have done that, like Cliffhanger and shit. Like, but
Cliffhanger
it's like
rules,
it's
too.
just, I don't know. It's fine. Yeah, Cliffhanger's great. But that scene in the mall, like, you got like the perfect quip line when he's like, I just decided to come in and do some shopping.
Yeah.
It's all silly and stuff, but it's just like, it's like so fast. Like that was it literally is like the movies where it's like they got to that part and they're like, all right, we got to kill this character immediately for no real reason. You're not super emotionally attached. You're supposed to be emotionally attached because he's his friend. Like literally when they go, he grabs his hand, and they do like the predator shake, and he's like, I've been your partner for 20,000 years, and we're gonna go. You think I wouldn't go with you to a cold place? I go cold. I love going to a cold place.
Like,
and then the
this
other
whole
guy's
time
like,
I thought
the
I
other
was
guy's
keeping you out of trouble. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right. Literally, dude. Yeah. And then his buddy's like, you two knuckleheads would be lost without me. And it's literally like the second we were watching this, the second he was like, I gotta come with you. Victoria was like, well, he's dead. He's dead as hell. Instantly. And then no, dude, it was literally the second scene after that scene. They're in the car, they crash the truck, they get out, and he's dead. He just drops to his death. And it's so fast without urgency. Like he's holding the glass and it's like cracking, and just Dennis Quaid, it's very like he's like moving the snow out of the way, and he's looking through the window, and he's like, oh, Jimmy, don't do it, dude. Don't, like, whatever it stays, like, don't cut the rope. And when he cuts it, and I was like, they didn't show the body hit like they did the sled. I wanted him to fall and explode like the sled.
I wanted him to like bounce off the railing, because it's like,
yeah.
Or he's just
guts.
down there with like a broken spine, but he's just like, oh.
The wolves come eat his throat. But it's like, no, I know. It's like, that's all silliness aside. I think they did a great job for like, it's PG-13.
And I'm glad it gets
a lot done.
It does take itself seriously enough. Like, I'm glad, because I feel like a lot of movies that are like, that know they're goofy and they know that the premise is like over the top, that they like lean into it and to get a little too tongue in cheek. I feel like that didn't come as prevalent until like the 2010s. But like, so this movie, I appreciate, like, even though it definitely is corny, when they're like, no, don't do it, Dave. And he's like, that's never going to hold. And then he's like, he's got it like close. It shows a close up on the knife. Like when he first cuts the pack off, and it's like, he's definitely going to cut the rope. Like, obviously, like, but it does it earnestly enough, but it's silly to look at it. But I don't know. It's like, it's a lot of that.
And when I think Dennis Quaid does a great, he has such a good balance of that being like the scientist-y kind of, like they had such a good touch of like kind of being a schlub, but just like he wasn't like a deadbeat dad. They didn't lean too hard into it, which was really nice.
Workaholic.
He has a lot. A workaholic, right? He has a lot. Like he's distracted. They're in a broken home, so it's kind of that whole like. I'm glad that they didn't get them back together, because I was so nervous that they were gonna have like all the family together at the end.
They were like,
each
I
other,
love you,
and like Dennis Quaid being like, yeah, right. And I'm like, it's like them
honestly,
getting back together. But
I don't like. That's the thing. I don't give a fuck about the wife and the cancer kid story. I had nothing to do with anything.
I don't. You can
like,
cut that so fast.
That's what I'm like.
I think the stakes of her being like, I can't leave him. I have to stay here, and then literally that can be it. And then, honestly, you could just get her in the montage at the end when it's showing everybody at the end, and she's just okay in one of the bunkers, because that's pretty much what we got anyways. But then you had, like, some other connective tissue.
We got a lot of that, of just like, it kind of all worked out on all these various lines. But you know what got me that they didn't resolve at all is, like, they kept focusing on the vice president, who I guess is, like, sort of the antagonist other than the weather. Kind of. Yeah. I mean, he's just like the only guy that's just like, no,
close enough.
Yeah. But like they focus on him.
He's one of those like, I didn't listen to the science, and we need to listen to the
listened.
science. It's like, well, we don't have that in government.
No, definitely not. And he is like the Dick Cheney and Bush standing, because then Bush comes back from his hunting trip or whatever and is like, what's going on? And then he's like, what should I do to the vice president? And it's like, I almost expected there to be like a conspiracy or something, because then it's just like, they're in the vice president's in Mexico, and the lady comes up, and it's like, you see the guys leaving the White House. They're like, we got to get out of here, sir. And there's no scene apparel. There's no boat with wolves on it. But then in the next scene, it gets back to it. They're just like, they didn't make it. And you're like, wait, you're telling me this movie that goes out of its way to show the death of characters that are like not in it at all, did not show the death of the fucking president of the United States, so that the vice president, who have both men in it like an okay amount, can rise to power and learn a lesson or something? Like, you're not going to show his death? Like, I feel like that's something they filmed and had to cut, because I was like, really? What? Is this like a plot? And then like, they're just like, nope, I guess he is dead. And I guess the vice president is the thing now. He's like, I'm in Mexico and we need to learn and listen. It's like, but it's not earned though. You know what I mean? It does not feel earned. Like, I feel like that guy was like shady as fuck and didn't mean, I don't know. That whole speech at the end, I'm like, did he really learn, though? I feel like he didn't have any he needed a harrowing moment. If we were going to focus on him, just make him the president. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's so much convoluted shit.
Oh, I know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just
No,
make
I
it the president.
I bet you $1 million. Like, I bet $1 million they were shooting. They had their script. And they were shooting it. And they got to that scene where they're like, he's becoming the president now. You know? It's like that wasn't a secret to them. But I bet you they got there and they were watching dailies and they were like, this doesn't work. What's going on? Like, we got to like, you know, there had to have been like a different conversation, you know, where it's like, okay, well, I guess she's going to hand him a piece of paper that says he's president now. And he gets to be like, you know, because it's always like, I was actually really interested in that. Like, how does that transfer of power happen? And I did think it was like so wackadoo because I was expecting some switcheroo or some conspiracy where it's like he died off screen and then I was expecting him to like come back later or something.
Like we
to
show
confront him
that Asian guy again. I know
where
he
it's
was
like,
a thing apparently in the script, but it's like we spend minutes on him. We spend a ton of time on the people in the weather station in LA, and it's like we spend time with the president and the vice president having this weird convoluted thing, and then it's just like, yeah, then he dies off camera, and the vice president supposedly learned something, but he didn't really have to go through anything at all. He just became president, and so if anything, he's just like coming up Millhouse. You know what I mean? Like everything's working out for him, but then he's just like, my God.
Where's the where's the body? You know, like that's I literally am like watching this. I'm just kind of like, this is like, is the transfer of power happen like that with like a secretary handing you a memo and it's just like, here you go,
probably.
like without the body? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of like, I just felt like, I was like, I know this. It's funny how to be like, you're arguing a movie that has like, you know, it's like, it's crazy
the
snowing
sequel,
in London and stuff.
Yeah,
like, it's
I
like
know,
whatever. These,
I know. Like
silly,
I
you
feels
know,
like
it's
we're
these-
bitching about stuff that is just like, don't think about it.
Yeah.
But otherwise, what would
Which
we
is-
talk
which is
about?
fine.
Because it's like, yeah,
I know.
the disaster
This is-
stuff is obviously all fucking great. Like, this movie's fun. This movie's a good time.
Yeah.
It's just
Well, dude,
silly
the
when you
disaster
think
stuff
about
in it is like that's what's funny is like that's really competent. That actually tracks really well with like not necessarily like timeline, but like people's reaction to it happening when they're there. So it's like I loved having like I did like having the weatherman who was like with his woman, you know, like canoodling at the weather station, and then like him being like, oh, my phone's ringing off the hook, beep, just a minute, and he like runs over there, and they're like get outside.
It was like
the
a slasher
weather.
movie
And
where
he's
they're like, what's that noise?
Yeah,
I'll check
yeah.
on it, babe.
Yeah. No, and that was sick with the janitor. Like he's got
Yeah.
the headphones on and he's like bopping, and like the door's got like light coming
cool
out of it,
shot,
and he
yeah.
opens it. It's that like it's like I'm like this is fun. That is like
Very cool.
That is I'm like I get this. Like it's very sensational and it works really well. Like that stuff is competent, and so it's
popcorn.
like kind of fun that way. But you know, and I guess that's kind of it. It's like no character really like bothered me that much. You know, I'm just nitpicking the fact that like, you know,
I'm hung up
on
on the president now. I want to see a sequel. Roland Emmerich's next movie, The Day Before Yesterday, and it's just like
Yes.
like they're living in the ice age now, but it's all recovery, and it's just like, yeah, the president's just still alive. And he's like, wait, you guys didn't even wait? You didn't even wait? Like, and then, it turns
Like,
into a conspiracy thriller where it's a struggle of power to rebuild the United States. And then it all melts and there's more
he needs
floods.
he should he should start. The movie should be called Today, and it is like it's like
No,
literally
it's the day,
like
the day before
Yeah.
yesterday, dude. That's it.
yeah
Green lighting that shit.
yeah
Anyway.
yeah that's why we call it the present.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fun. I'm glad we went this route genre wise. Like it was what I needed. Because honestly, like I said, I'm starting like a volcanoes earthquake class, and then also, but Mary was watching Titanic the other day, and so I caught like the better half of Titanic, the back end, and I was like, oh yeah, this is fun. I want more of this like big spectacle type stuff, and so I'm like, I voted for this on the poll. Because even though I think all the other movies are probably better, I mean, at least a couple of them, like, this is the only one I really don't remember. Like, I didn't remember that much. I remembered, like, obviously the big stuff, but yeah, it was, I don't know. It was fun. It was all right.
I'm trying to remember. I voted for Titanic because I've seen Titanic maybe like 3 times, maybe like once in 2001 or something.
Yeah.
You know, max if that. I don't even.
I mean,
I'm trying to remember. I remember it was like came on 2 VHS.
Yeah, that's how I
and
watched
so
it
I used
all
to
the
watch
time.
it at my grandma's.
I would go and I'd watch I liked Titanic when I was a kid, but I only watched the second tape because that was when it was most interesting. And then I'd watch the first tape occasionally and pause it on, Kate Winslet's boobs.
I was gonna say you pause it on. Yeah, you pause
On
it
like
for,
the old VHS,
yeah,
it's just like shaking and like it's got the scan lines.
for,
I'm like,
for history. Yeah, there's
like that's
right.
art.
Yeah.
Anyway, what? Tell me, since I don't know, tell me the budget of this movie.
Okay, yeah. Let me
Just
also
curious.
just briefly say something I forgot. I wanted to mention I'm so sad that like Matt Stone and Trey Parker, I feel like they could do something like this now. And I feel like it's just like they're silly billies that like I totally resonate with. Like I love it. They found the script, this script leaked for this movie like 4 months or something before the release of the film, and they wanted to shoot a puppet version scene for scene
That's amazing.
of this movie and release it same
Like,
day.
same day, that'd be
And
the
I'm
best.
just like that's the energy that like that's totally the energy I need in my life.
I feel
dude.
like Dennis
I love
Quaid's
those guys.
character could have been better as a puppet. Like
It was so good, dude.
Oh.
It was so good. Matt Stone and Trey Parker, dude,
So good.
doing like basically a
Well,
Team America.
I
with,
mean, honestly, yeah, like fucking South Park is the South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. That's a disaster movie.
yeah, I guess theoretically, yeah, it's like they totally hell comes out. But this, what?
Nothing. The war
Oh,
between
yeah,
Canada
this is like
and
one
U.S.
of this.
and hell.
Yeah. This was one of the like I think it was like the 6th highest grossing film of the year, and it was like one of the highest budgeted films. It's the highest budget film so far in Canada that's been filmed there. Like it was $125 million to shoot this mother flipper, and that's crazy for 2004.
That's, I was just
Because if
saying
you
that's
think
pretty
about
chunky for the time. 'cause,
It was
yeah.
it was like 200 and what was it? Remember when we did Lord of the Rings? God, I wish I could remember that exact number off the top of my head. But when we did Lord of the Rings, that whole for both movies, because they shot the first 2 movies back to back,
Right.
They got like I think like 250 or something, 225 or something for those 2 films, which are a lot bigger than this movie. So it's crazy. Like this movie got a really large budget, and I guess it's like Independence Day. You know, this is one of those directors that like can pull in. You know, it's kind of weird. I always wonder how this works because the directors we're more familiar with are like the auteur directors, the directors who kind of like they will take a large cut of the pay, and they'll do they do everything for like dirt cheap, you know. And so it's like even big directors like Scorsese and shit, he'll make a movie for $50 million, you know, and he'll only take whatever, you know, the Directors Guild pricing, you know, whatever it is.
Sure.
Like he'll usually, you know, they do that. So it's like this guy, it's like Emerson or whatever the director, he took a $10 million advance and 10% of the back end on this film. And it's like, I just don't get how that
There you
like
go.
works. It's like, I
Yeah.
don't know. You just like, you will him and dill him, I guess. He's like, he must be really good in the boardroom, you know, in the boardroom and the bedroom. But he got approved for 125, and I mean, this is probably why it grossed $552 million.
Okay, yeah. That's
So that's, you know, so if you basically to break even on a movie, you actually have to get like twice, or to make like decent profit, you have to get twice your budget.
Yeah.
And so he, you know, got almost 5 times. So it's like he did great. He like blew it out of the water, and he got a great 10% of that, you know, on the back end. And I was reading that like DVDs were fairly, you know, they were popular now, but there was still a mixture of VHS and DVD at the time, and it got 110 million in DVD sales.
Wow.
Which is crazy in the first year.
Well, that makes sense because I honestly, I remember
pretty
this
damn
movie
good.
being like, I remember everyone else liked it more than me because again, super pretentious hipster film guy.
Yeah.
But I do remember like every person whose house I went to and rummaged through their DVDs, they all had. This was one of the DVDs that's like everyone had.
I can
Day
see
After
the
Tomorrow.
cover.
Oh, for sure.
I can see the frozen fucking Statue of Liberty or whatever, you know.
Which, spoiler,
I can see the cover of this. Oh,
doesn't
I'm
even happen
sorry.
until like
But
the last
dude,
20 minutes.
I know. Oh God, I got to tell you something funny. So when we watched this, we've been having internet trouble here at our old apartment.
Oh, yeah.
And don't ever go through Verizon. They suck. And
They all suck.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess you can't beat them. But we've been having really shitty internet. We use Plex to watch our movies. As we're watching it, it's like aliasing and kind of chugging. And Plex gave us a drop down, and they were like, lower your quality for, a better streaming service or whatever, better streamline. And so I was like, cool, I'll lower the quality. And it became the most pixelated.
You're like, is this
piece of
puppets?
shit.
Are these puppets? They
No,
might be.
dude, really. No, I was like, I'm like, am I pausing a VHS through this thing? Dude, it got pixelated so bad. And the Statue of Liberty scene is like really cool. It's like really fun to watch them like walk through it, but it's like so chunky. I couldn't tell what scene it was. And I was sitting there like squinting at it. I was like, what is going on? And then it kicked back up and it was running okay. But man, yeah, I don't know. This movie, it just made me think about like, it has like some great imagery in it. Like it's funny
cool.
how it's like,
It's a cool.
it's so close. It's so close to being like, if they just,
I want to watch
decided
2012
to make something
now.
a little more attainable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like lean in. I guess it's like that's what he does, because I can't imagine that 2012 is more intimate or something, or like more deeper character-driven drama. Like he knows what he does, and he does it well, I guess. Because like Moonfall looks dumb as hell, but it looks, I'm sure, with the advancement in technology, I'm sure it is a fun time to watch, hopefully. And so I'm like, I'm there for it. You know what I mean? Like, I think Independence Day is like actually good, but it's like you kind of couldn't lean on it as hard as you could back then without having like even more of an astronomical budget. So I don't know. I'm there for it though. I'm like, it scratched a certain itch for me, even though it was dumb fun. You know what I mean? And
totally, yeah. It went down easy for sure.
It went down easy, and it's like, that's the thing. It's like no one was bad. The script was a kind of a mess, but everything was like, yeah, fine, that was fine. Like the only thing that really excelled was obviously like the VFX and just like the overall destruction visuals. Like they know that's why you come. I'm sure that's why it made over $500 million, is because you're Mr. Cool that sees every movie in the theaters. I mean, you used to. Now you never go to the movies, fuckface. But
I know, dude. Isn't this crazy? I used to literally watch 5 movies. Like I would see like a movie a week.
I got 2 kids. How is it that I go to the movies more than you? It's wild. But
I don't know, dude. I mean, yeah. Once
I
when
just
I get
leave.
a car,
I just leave them.
I'll be back. I'll be back in the theaters.
There you go. I just leave my kids.
Yeah,
in
you
the
leave
car.
them in the car.
I crack the windows. Yeah, I crack the windows. It's
cool.
I
was gonna say, crack the window, give them an otter pop.
Yeah, they're good. Anyway, so yeah, that's fun. I got a couple of Reddits though. Why not? Oh, just kidding. I just exited out of them because a habit of just exiting out of every tab that I have on my phone.
It's John Cusack in 2012, right?
Yeah, pretty sure. Because I never saw that either. Because
Yeah,
I remember seeing the trailers. I mean, like, oh, that looks cool, but like incredibly dumb.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
no,
I'd see it. But that's one of those movies. There's so many movies, and so I'm glad this actually kind of stood up at home, because it's like there's so many movies where I'm like, man, I would like to see that movie in theaters on the big screen. Otherwise, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what happened with 2012, where I'm like, I missed it in theaters. Like I was like, oh, maybe I'll go see that in theaters because it looks like fun to see on the big screen. And then I missed it, and then I'm like, eh. And that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like the new Superman movie, I'm like, that looks kind of cool to see on the big screen. But I'm like, when it comes out at home,
I
like,
want to see it in theaters.
I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll see it at home. I probably will. But like,
dude, I
care way less.
Why am I
with these kind of movies?
I'm misremembering 2012 came out in 2009.
Yeah, it came out a couple years earlier, which I thought was like whack ass.
Why? Yeah, what?
Because everyone was doing the psych out. Everyone was like, we want you to fear 2012, because by the time I can't make 2012 in 2012 because we'll all be dead by then because of the Mayans.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, no one's going to the movie theaters if the Rapture.
Yeah. I almost just read my own Reddit comment. That wouldn't have worked. So, Clones of People 2 says, seen this a few times, but it's been 15 years or so since I last watched. I have to say that I enjoy this movie. It's not high cinema, but it's what I like with a popcorn film. This is a very typical disaster film, and it's doing exactly what it's setting out to do. This is a great film to just leave my brain behind and just enjoy the effects and fairly basic plot. Hope nobody watched this for its scientific realism. Roland Emmerich knows exactly what he's doing here and has this genre down to a fine art. Dennis Quaid is perfectly cast and completely believable as the science-speaking hero dad, and Jake Gyllenhaal is perfect for the super smart, slightly rebellious, but wholesome good guy. My criticisms are that it's very two-dimensional with the plot and the characters, and the special effects are good, not great, some old-looking CGI and some very stagey-looking sets. But like I said, I'm here for the fun disasters, and for that, it delivers a cool 7 out of 10. Thank you for that. Oh, I forgot to mention, the one thing I did like that was a slight subversion. It's not really, it's almost like a cliche now, but it was refreshing because this movie is like cliche in a way, but that the douchebag jock, rich douchebag guy ended up being like pretty chill, and like they kind of became friends and helped each other like immediately. Like they didn't have like a ton of drama, like all the drama he was like kind of imagining. You know what I mean? Like there never was.
Right. That's what I love.
That's
I love
nice.
that they did that. They showed it where they're like, we can go this, we're gonna go this way with it, you know. And then they're just kind of like, oh, psych. The weather is the bad guy, not mankind. You know, that was supposed to be
mankind.
I
know
right.
And it's funny that the chick that's the love interest or whatever, it's like I only know her from Shameless, and so the whole time it's like in Shameless she's just like fucking like just she's a wild gal, you know. And in this, she's just like got her turtleneck and stuff. But like, I'm like, oh no, I know who she really is. She gets fucked, like in that turtleneck, like for sure she fucked that guy.
She's a freak, dude.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's like it's great. I love her character in Shameless, but it's funny. She's like a classical trained opera singer. Like her parents or her mom, and she's in the Phantom of the Opera. The early 2000s, like 2001 or something. Phantom of the Opera, and like. She like sings all her parts like for real, and
cool.
she's done hundreds of operas. It's crazy to hear her sing like in real life. She's like amazing, and I know her from Shameless, and so it's just this weird like it's almost like kind of like
weird.
What are you doing with your life? I don't know. But Shameless is great, so
yeah, it's solid. It's all right, but we keep putting it off. But one of these days we're gonna have to do a musical month, you know, and we'll
gonna have to do what?
A musical month. And we'll do Phantom of the Opera one of these days. We're gonna have to one of these days.
Haven't we done? Oh, we did like play movies, or we did like
musicals have snuck their way in to a couple other genres. The first podcast we ever did was on a musical. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Seven Brothers?
Yeah.
Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Go listen to that episode if you can find it.
Yeah, if you could stomach it. I don't even know. Anyway,
I know, right? I haven't listened to that. Yeah, man. Thank you for the comment.
yeah, of course. Thank you.
Yeah.
I got a couple more. So Competitive Bat 5831 says, like others, I haven't seen this movie in years. I remember enjoying it a pretty good amount when I saw it. Things change. I don't think it's bad, but it's also not great. I'm not a big fan of these dramatic global climate change movies because I think they weaken messaging around the fallout of those events. Also, I wonder how Dennis Quaid feels about being in a movie with such a liberal plot point now that he's a Trump fan. I did appreciate the song playing when Emmy Rossum's character was talking to the boy from the competing school. I also enjoyed the writing of book nerds fighting over which books to burn. Ignoring that, aside from the Bible and books like it, there's hundreds of copies of these books, and burning them is perfectly fine. Otherwise, the writing was stale and predictable, in my opinion. The shots of the storm from space and high altitude looked fantastic, and I'm always a fan of modern cities that have been destroyed or damaged in some capacity. The frozen wasteland that has a Wendy's sign being a great example of this. A decent 6 out of 10. Yeah, I know.
Nice.
Dennis Quaid,
well, dude,
man, I can't.
I love that comment. I love that comment because that's hilarious. But dude, I focused on the book. So as we're watching this movie, when those two fucking librarian nerds are like, "Ooh, you can't burn books," like it's like I'm like, are you fucking insane? That library, like there are dedicated sections that they would know about because they're librarians that are like rare books, first editions, books that shouldn't be burnt because they have this like inherent value from their age and from their rarity. But there are I looked it up. There are 100 million books in the New York Public Library. In that one library, there's 100 million books. You've got enough books to burn.
Yeah.
I was like, you could burn some goddamn Dr. Seuss. That fucking shit has been printed 10,000 times.
Yeah.
Like, you got books to burn. I was like, what are you talking about?
I know.
I was just what I was laughing about that. I'm like, they're complaining about books, and I was like, I had to look it up. I was like, there's got to be enough books
No,
in there.
my
I was like,
brain- my
there's at least like
fucking-
1,000.
I know if I was, I was thinking how I would handle it because I would definitely like, I would come around to burning them, but it's like, I know because of my brain, I would like weirdly hyperfixate on like some stuff. And so I'd be like burning books, but then I would be like going through the books. I'm like, this one looks pretty cool though. And then I like put it to the side. And then I'd be like, this one looks like shit. And I'd throw it. But then I'm like, no.
There are designated. That was the whole thing. There are designated areas in there that are like, these are rare books.
I'm
we've
like,
done the legwork.
I can't read this. I can't burn this Stephen King book. It's like one of the first books I read. I'm like, it's Stephen fucking King. Like, you can burn it.
It's Stephen King.
Spent
There are
millions.
There are probably
millions.
like 1,100 there, just in there. You know,
Yeah,
like you
copies.
can burn like Charlotte Webb. Like it's like there are enough copies around there. Like you're fine. Like I don't know. That was silly to me, but I kind of it's like I get it. That's the whole thing.
It's
This movie's
fun.
one of those. Like,
It's fun.
It's just
Those-
enough. It's surface
just
level
enough.
to be like that.
It
But
gives just
you know what's
enough to
funny?
the characters. There was just like, the quirky book characters. You know, you can't burn Nietzsche. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine.
Right.
Whatever.
Everyone's been saying two-dimensional, but I love the black friend from there, which I don't remember his name.
The nerdy one?
How he the nerdy guy who's fixing the radio. He like his was like the silliest, like it's just like there's no lines. It's just totally like underutilized, but then like when they get rescued, he has the dopiest look on his face. It's so silly. Like he gets no words. I was cracking up, dude. I was like, oh my god. But anyways, I wanted to also mention Clones Are People too. You talked about like, you know, don't overthink the science. Well, they actually did try. I mean, it's a film, and it's just like if you and I wrote a movie together, we would be like, well, let's look up some Wikipedia things real quick about this science that we're doing, you know. And that's essentially what it is, you know. But they were they got in. They like when you do screen testings, especially for a movie this large, you get a large audience of people and you get friends in, and they got a lot of people from NASA and other like scientific, you know, organizations would come in and they would watch the movie just to be like, how does it, to see how it flows, you know. They're kind of like, they're not trying to get like the science perfect,
right?
But they're just like, hey, what is, you know, it's like, is it complete gibberish? And everyone was like, everyone was just like, you know, it's a fun movie. It has nothing for like the scientific aspect of it. You know, it's all kind of like convoluted and like it's like sweeping, you know, broad generalizations of how weather works.
Right.
But they're like, the science isn't great, but they're like, it's a really fun movie nonetheless.
Yeah. What I was
I
commenting
love that.
to Competitive Bat. Thank you for commenting. I commented on his thing and was like, I see your point about it being like, it is a real serious problem, and it kind of makes it seem like more hokey and like sci-fi than it needs to be. But I'm like, at the time, I feel like it was this along with like Inconvenient Truth, right? The documentary. Like these were like the first
and Futurama
and yeah, like it was starting to come.
Yeah.
Like obviously we know scientists and community and like people in the know have known about it for a long time, but like I feel like these are when it started to come into the mainstream. And it's like I can't decide if it's like, yeah, this is so extreme, because obviously they kind of dropped the extreme weather thing, because like that's real. Like we were like these hailstorms in this movie, they're like, holy shit, like that happens all the time now. Those crazy huge hailstorms and shit.
Yeah.
And
we're starting to get snow patterns that are like not natural.
oh yeah, no,
we're places where it's
absolutely
never snowed before.
We're
ever.
absolutely
Like,
fucked. A giant cyclone's probably not going to hyper freeze us. That's the one thing. That's why I almost wish they had like just focused on that, because that obviously became like the main thing instead of like also tornadoes and also hail and also this, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's fine, or just do like general crazy weather, because like that is what we're getting. So I can't decide if it's like if it like undermines it or if it brings attention to it. I lean slightly toward brings attention, just because it is such a big movie, and at the time, like obviously now, anyone with half a brain is like, yeah, climate change is real and like we should do something about it, but. You know, the politicians, they're not learning their lessons like they do in this movie, so maybe just
Right. It's like it takes a collective collective people. To,
Well, it
you
needs
know,
hundreds of
issue any
millions of people
change,
that
so.
like. I'm almost like, yeah, we should have a day after tomorrow type situation because it's like it's too slow for our stupid monkey brains to like
But
collect,
we
get
did.
together.
We had COVID. It shut down the world for like a month, and it did nothing. So
I know.
it's fine. You know.
No,
Not enough people
if-
died. I guess.
not enough people died. It needed to be hundreds of millions.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I know, right? yeah.
Anyway.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get
yeah.
there.
Well,
one
oh
day.
yeah. Don't worry, we'll get there. The resource wars. We'll get
yeah,
it.
baby.
Anyway, I got one more Reddit, and then we're fucking done with this. So, NU-NRG says, so here's my take. The Day After Tomorrow is exactly what it sets out to be. A campy, over-the-top, apocalyptic, end-of-the-world disaster movie that makes you suspend your disbelief with all the pseudoscience. But it's directed by the GOAT of disaster films, Roland Emmerich, whose magnum opus is 2012, but maybe you'll review that film later this month. Roland is like the James Cameron of disaster films. He could tell a terrific story, a bit of character development, and maybe just enough for us to care about the characters and stellar explosions / big-time effects. This is unabashedly a popcorn flick through and through. It knows exactly what it is. I think the premise is corny as hell, a new ice age where anything that gets caught in the funnels instantly freezes. But also considering the world we live in now with drastic temperature changes thanks to climate change, it's not that far off. Jake Gyllenhaal is Jake Gyllenhaal and Dennis Quaid is Dennis Quaid. They really didn't bring forth anything extraordinary. I think they played their roles exactly how I expected. I also haven't seen this film in probably 18 years, so a lot of my review is off of memory. 6 out of 10 for Disaster Flick. As I mentioned, 2012 is Roland's masterpiece, and I think The Day After Tomorrow is a stepping stone to that film. Upgrade to 7 out of 10 because I just remembered the ginger guy who bites his thumb in Romeo plus Juliet is in this. Thank you. I still need to see Romeo plus Juliet, dude. I put that on some polls, and it never fucking wins. But one of these days, one of these days we'll get it.
That's funny.
No.
Yeah, thanks for the comment.
Thank you. I agree with
I want
all
to see now. I want to watch 2012.
I do
I'm like,
too.
that's-
Yeah. And
I hope. It's like, yeah. I almost kind of like. It's a bummer because we've already seen a movie by him, but I still am like.
I'll probably put it on
I
one
wanna
of the
see it.
polls if it fits for sure. You know what I mean? See how it goes. I might go more grim though. We did the fun one, then we got to do an older one, and then we got to do like I'm gonna do Threads. You know what I mean? Like the grim ones.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
But,
that's more. Yeah, that's
our
my alley,
yeah. But no, thank you for that. I also he mentioned in there that this is like an apocalyptic movie, and it's like I like seeing that it's like during like as it happens. Like so often it's either like post-apocalyptic, so it's always kind of fun to see people react like in real time to like the breakdown of society with like all the chaos of everyone's trying to call everyone else and everyone's running in the streets and shit. Like that's fun. I like that. So
It is. Yeah, it's cool. I kept making jokes though that he boiled the movie down to like New York has like whatever 20 million people in it, and like Manhattan, and like it's just like he boils it down to like there's one hobo.
I know.
And there's like 2 librarians.
he's a
And
hobo
it's like, I just
with the
love- I
heart of
love all
gold
the
too. That's just
characters.
like he's just like a misunderstood dude. Like
Yeah. But it just like I kept laughing like I'm the one homeless guy in New York. It's like, I don't know, you know. But it was this is a solid film, man.
It was
like,
cool.
You can't really go wrong.
Yeah,
and it does. I think the best point is it holds up really well at a home viewing. That I was surprised.
it does surprise. It was like more visually impressive than I expected. I expected it to look way more outdated, but also like you know, it's got a big bombastic score. Like it's fun enough. You know what I mean? And it's probably Dennis Quaid's second best movie. His best one's Pandorum, but just saying. Did we do Pandorum for the podcast?
What's his first?
It's Pandorum.
Oh yeah, Pandorum.
Yeah,
I've never really watched Pandorum. I've
Wait,
seen it
I thought we
once,
did
but I
it.
think I fell
Did we
asleep. I
not
think I
do
fell
it for the
asleep.
podcast? Did we? I guess maybe not. We gotta do
I don't think so.
We gotta do Pandorum, dude.
We've done Event Horizon, but that was we were talking about that off camera. but-
Yeah. Have we?
Off
I don't
mic,
think so.
No, we did. Yeah, we did Event Horizon.
Nah. Did we?
We did it
Okay.
100%.
You know what?
Dude. Yeah,
You're right.
guaranteed. 100%.
I remember the thumbnail on the YouTube.
Yeah.
That's how I remember him.
Yeah, we did Event Horizon because it does a fucking homage to Dark Star.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did Darkstar too. Go watch that.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah. I know we
thank
did. Yeah, those are
you.
great episodes. Go back and listen to our other episodes, and then
Yeah.
if you want more of us, and you can get all the COCK you want in your life,
Get it all.
come right down your ear holes. You can go to YouTube. You can go to your favorite podcatcher, wherever you listen to your pods. You know,
Come
you go
to
wrestle up a pod.
Thank you, everyone that voted on the Reddit, voted on the YouTube, commented on the Reddit. I'm going to get more comments on the YouTube, too. So if you comment on a specific movie, I'll try to read those, too. But, yeah, come vote. Come pick what movies we watch. Come talk to us about movies. I just want to talk about movies. Yeah, and check out the Patreon, too.
Man.
We've been talking about how we got some change-ups coming. We're probably going to skip a week later in the month, because Jordan's moving, I'm going back to school. We're going to have like a kind of a crazy week. But after that, we're hoping to, we're going to be seeing each other in person a little bit more often. So hopefully we can kind of do some cool stuff for the Patreons out there.
It's going to be a new setup and a lot better internet connection.
We'll see. I don't know. I'm going to get a worse fucking webcam.
Yeah.
Well, we
I
talked
know, right?
about...
Yeah, can't give the people too much.
We don't trust technology and we hate the internet, so we're just going to start doing the podcast via carrier pigeon. So make sure to come check that out.
Yeah. Or we're gonna do it on. We'll do it on thumb drives. And we'll just leave them around the park.
Yeah.
You just put that. Put a flash drive
this
in your
thumb drive
in your
says
computer.
cock on it.
yeah, baby.
All right. Well,
All right.
thanks. We'll see you
guys,
next
you guys
time.
have a fun time.
Bye.
Goodbye.